Hello, welcome back to the Socially Sound podcast. I'm Kirsty.
And I'm Sarah.
So, today's episode is focusing on education. We got a submission asking for our opinion and also to give some tips and advice. So, the scenario is a teacher of a deaf who is hearing is working with a deaf child who uses sign language, and as well as sign language, he also has a radio aid. And the teacher of the deaf wants to try and make people in the classroom, in the school, understand the translation time and that it takes time. They also want to know about our experience in mainstream education, the positives, the negatives, and what could have been improved. So we'll share that today.
So experience? I think I had a good experience through primary school, secondary school, all the way through. The professionals were very focused on my needs. They made sure that my accommodations were suitable for my needs, because I'm oral, I grew up speaking, so most of the time I could lip read and I was fine. I didn't have an interpreter or anything, but I had note takers, so that helped to supplement anything that I might have missed out in the lessons, and I could go back to the notes and be like, oh, I missed that, I missed this, perfect, and match it with my notes to make sure I had that full understanding. And teachers were really aware. In primary school, I had a deaf unit, but the whole school learned SSE. So every child, every teacher knew basic SSE. So we weren't really excluded. So my needs were met really well. And then secondary school, mainstream, radio aid. We had sessions in the deaf unit where I could go and stay with whoever was with me in my lessons, whoever was with me for my subjects. So I had a specific person for science, maths, so on. So I could just ask them, do you remember what was discussed in that lesson? And they would give me a folder with their notes that they made so I could match them up with mine. I didn't use an interpreter, I just used a radio aid. Again, my teachers were aware and very welcoming and accommodating and made sure that they could face me. They wouldn't turn around and write on the whiteboard. They would make sure to write first and then explain, because obviously a lot of deaf people hate when the teacher turns away, writes and speaks, and you're behind them, you can't lip read. But most teachers were very open-minded and were like, okay, we'll adapt and make sure that I'm not moving too much, standing in a position where you can access lip reading. So my experience overall was quite good. I can't really complain. Obviously, it would have been nice to have an interpreter so that in the lesson I could have the information in real time, because I had to wait until I had the notes, or to go and get the notes for support, or wait until there was a discussion or a pause in the lesson to quickly make sure I had the notes, whatever. Or sometimes I would look at whoever was with me and then miss the next part of the lesson. So just to make the lessons much more smoother and to make sure in real time that I would actually receive and everything, it would have been nice to have SSE or BSL as part of the lesson, which would have made it easier for me to receive everything at the same time as everyone else in the room, so I wasn't waiting until later or until I'm revising to say, oh, I'm missing something, and checking the notes. I want to get that information at the same time as the rest of the class. But again, all the professionals that I grew up with were very focused. They saw my potential, they saw I was smart and didn't let the education system, push me aside. They literally helped me. They were hands-on and everything, made sure that my parents were involved in my education. If I was struggling, they would be like, what are you struggling with? How can we help resolve it? They were very quick to respond to any complaints, any worries or struggles. They were very hands-on. So I think that helped with my mental health as well, because I knew I could go to someone. It wasn't like I was suffering in silence or not say anything. If I couldn't hear, okay, I'm going to go and tell someone. They would talk with the teachers, make sure the teachers are aware, or there's a student in your class that's struggling, and then the teacher would be like really understanding, what can I do to change that? It wasn't a thing of, oh, it's her responsibility, she had the radio away to make sure she does this. It was more, they were like, oh, what can I do as well? So that was my experience there.
Yeah, so what you said at the end about the radio aids, it was the opposite for me. They'd always tell me it's my responsibility, I have to bring it. So it felt like there was a lot of a burden on me in school. So my school experience, I went to an all-girls school and it was a lot of layers to that experience. It was 50-50. I enjoyed it, I made friends there, it was good, but a lot could have been improved. Like, for example, okay, I always use this example. So, maths. I was in the bottom set doing a foundation paper and I tried really hard and I wanted to get onto the higher paper. So, I told my SEN lead, can I move up to the higher paper? And they said no. So, over time, it got to year 11, literally 6 months before my GCSEs. So the new maths teacher came in and he noticed that I was doing really well at a foundation level, and I was like, I know. And then a meeting was set up with Sen, the maths teacher, and then it was agreed that I was capable of doing the higher paper, but the problem was the timeline between my GCSEs and then literally 6 months. I could have got a B and an A, and I ended up getting a C, which I have a lot of regret about. I wish that I was given more time, and yeah, that's just the regret that I have. Like a Sen lead. I wouldn't expect that from Sen. I'd expect that from a maths teacher, not Sen. So that's one thing that could have been improved. And I also get where you're coming from, like having to advocate in the system, an education system that is not designed for disabled people. It's not designed for disabled children, people, their parents. You really have to advocate for yourself, advocate for the children. It's a constant battle.
Yeah. And they brought up a really good point about the child that they're working with. They rely on BSL, but also use a radio aid to listen. And obviously, it's hard to make people realise that they're two different languages. A lot of people think, well, BSL just followed English.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. So to take in BSL as well as listening to spoken English can be a bit jarring, can be a bit confusing, and it puts a lot of pressure on the child themselves to navigate between those two languages at the same time. You can't really expect a child to focus on both languages whilst studying and writing notes at the same time. That's a lot to ask of the child, because a hearing child can just take in the spoken English, process that and then write. But a deaf child had to take in the BSL, listen to the spoken English, process them and put them together, process them and then write. Like, that is a lot more work than just sitting and listening. A lot of hearing people think it's just sitting and watching BSL, when actually there's a lot of processing internally, and it depends what the child is capable of. What is their level, like academically. There's so many other factors to consider. You can't just expect a child to sit, because at the same time, the BSL is there to support the child's understanding of English. And it depends if the child is in year 11 or something. There's a lot of terms, big terms, that they're listening in English, and they're wondering, what does that mean? But then the BSL offers that clarification for them to understand. But there's still a processing delay. There's still a waiting for that information to be clarified in BSL. Okay, put that together. Then next time when they hear those terms again, they remember the BSL. So you have to be patient with the child. Like, a lot of hearing educated need to understand that it's not 1+1, that there's a lot more that goes into it. So honestly, the teacher of the deaf that messaged us, you're doing really well. It's good that you're seeing these issues. It's good that you want to do something about it. But at the same time, we didn't have that experience going through school, so we can't really give feedback and help. But I want to say, we spoke about it. I want to say that each child had different needs. So yes, this child is signing and listening. Maybe other people have that same experience, or some of us really just relied on speech and radio aids, and some relied on signing. So each child is different. So it's more discussing with the child and asking them, what do you want us to do? Ask the child, don't ask other people. Maybe you can find common experiences, but ask the child themselves. they're the ones who you're working with and for, ask them, how can we help you? Do you want to rely on BSL?
Yes,
Do you want to
yes.
listen through the radio aid? Or do you want notes as well? Like, how can we help you? And give that child space to be vulnerable and tell you, okay, I've been struggling with this. Some children are actually not allowed to refuse radio aids. They must wear it, must in the classroom. Some are allowed to refuse it. So maybe ask, are you happy with the radio aid? Is it helping you? Or are you happy with the BSL?
Exactly.
Ask them, what can we try? And let them know, even if we try something and it doesn't work, that's fine. That's not your fault. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. Try another option. Keep trying. It's trial and error. Like, you never know what will work unless you try it. So just ask the child and tell them, what do you want us to do? If they're very young, obviously it's a bit hard to ask them. You have to be considerate, observant, and make sure, I think I've noticed this, or I noticed that they're more engaging in this situation, and then tweak their environments. But if they're older and old enough to say what they need and use their own voice, listen to them. Just listen to them.
Yes. Overall, really, autonomy. In education, every child should have control of their education. They should be able to say, I want this, I don't want this. It's that simple. We, the adults, shouldn't be making decisions for them. No.
Exactly.
No.
But thank you for asking our experiences.
Yeah,
We're
thank you.
interested to know other people's experiences, if it's similar, good, bad, and hopefully that child thrives. I hate when I hear about deaf people not thriving in education systems, in school, sixth form, dropping out of uni. I hate it. So I hope that child that you're working with thrives and becomes academically smart with your support, with other professionals focusing and helping. I hope they thrive. I hope.
Yeah, I hope they thrive and achieve whatever they want to achieve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you like,
subscribe,
comment.
Yeah. Share.
Yes. It's summer, so I'll leave you alone, okay? Summer, I'll let you enjoy it. But when it's winter and it comes, that's when I'll come and find you.
She's coming for you.